Thank you, Jess. My name is Jeremy and I'm now going to be talking through Umina Retreat's business management structure. So in approach to this section, I thought it would be best to approach it from a timeline perspective, so to ensure that as Umina Retreat evolves over time, that the business structure also evolves in a complementary manner. So the recommendations I therefore have made consider how Umina Retreat's business structure could evolve over time. The structures I have chosen take into consideration Rebecca's personal circumstances, the size and type of the business, and how the growth of business can be supported. The legal structure of a business is critical to success, as this structure will impact things such as who can make the important decisions, the applicable tax advantages or disadvantages, how profits and losses are shared, and Rebecca's potential legal obligations and costs. So I'm going to be now going into a high-level overview of the three business structures that I have provided on my first slide that I think will be most suitable for Umina Retreat at varying stages of its development, where the report provided will touch on the finer details. So I'm now going to be talking to the second slide. I think that a sole proprietorship or sole trader is the business management structure that best suits Umina Retreat's startup stage, as this will allow a seamless entry into the market and will not require large capital or investment. In this startup option, there are two key steps. Firstly, Rebecca will need to obtain an Australian business number and register the business name, which is quite cheap to do. The structure will also allow Rebecca to lodge the income tax return with her own personal tax file number, which means that she won't be taxed double. So as you can see, there are a number of pros and cons that I've put onto the slide that just touch on some of the high-level benefits and disadvantages. Key ones to note that would be applicable for Rebecca, as she would like to and endeavours to provide money to charity, is that she will receive all the profit from the business, and that she will also be able to have all decision-making power within the business. As Rebecca will be employing people, she will have responsibilities including employee payroll, tax and PG, and superannuation payments for her employees. In this business structure, Rebecca will also be responsible for all the business assets, and in this case will also attract an unlimited liability, which includes her personal assets. So I'm now going to discuss the option of moving into a partnership on my third slide. So a partnership may provide Rebecca the opportunity to grow the retreat further by moving into a contractual business partnership of 2 or more people, up to 20. I think it might be particularly valuable for Rebecca once she decides to move interstate, that someone from the other state that she chooses to move into can actually run the business from up there. In addition, I think that this will also help to raise greater financial resources, which could assist in the growth of the business. This structure will also allow for a pooling of knowledge and judgment, where work could also be divided among the partners, which means it's less demanding in time. I think that the structure of a partnership is mostly the same as a proprietorship, but there are a few distinctions. In a partnership, it's really important that a contractual agreement is made between the partners, but it's not required. A partnership will also mean that the business has to have its own tax file number, and it lodges its own tax return, but upon assessment from the ATO, the partnership profits will be divided amongst the partners as set out in the contract, and from there, each partner will add to their share of profits lost to their personal income tax. So lastly, I'm just going to quickly go through, in the interest of time, the franchise model that I think would be well suited to Umina Retreats if it becomes established and quite successful. So as you can see, there are a number of benefits to a franchise model that would see exponential growth, it would reach new markets, and it's quite likely that extra profits and stuff could be contributed through payments in royalty and the initial payment for a franchisee fee, and there's also minimised growth risk. Although there are a few cons, as you can see, as decision making and innovation has to actually be put forward to franchisees before it's actually implemented down the line. But I'll go through that in more detail in the report. And so basically, in addition to investing more time into the planning and development of an attractive franchise model and franchise agreement, which I think would be best supported by a franchisee solicitor and or a financial consultant. I think that Rebecca would be best to additionally put together an operations manual, choose her franchisees very carefully, provide first-class training, maintain good ongoing relationships, and keep developing the franchise and maintaining the standards, and ensure that marketing and advertising and PR is of first class. So that comes to the conclusion of my part of the presentation. I'm now going to pass on to Jack, who will be going through the budget and the financials with regards to Umina Retreat. Thank you.